Welcome to New Jersey Now. I'm Jim McQueeny, and what a week in New Jersey it has been, with the presidential campaign coming around to a close, and also the closing of the Bridgegate trial as well, going to the jury. First, we want to start off on the presidential stuff here with Steve Adubato on this Lessons in Leadership and on the presidential campaign right now. A lot of people really, and polling really shows this as well, they're not happy with their choices. They think it's between Tweedledee and Tweedledum in this situation. It's hardly an issue of voting for a leader of the world's leading democracy right now. What went wrong?
Yeah. So, Jim, the way I look at leadership, people say it's very complex. It is on one level, but at the core, my view of leadership is about ultimately taking responsibility. And while Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump disagree on all kinds of issues, the one thing they have in common, and I wrote about it in Lessons in Leadership, they take responsibility for virtually nothing. Donald Trump does absolutely the worst thing. He says the worst things about women. He says the worst things about the Khan family. He said horrible things about John McCain in the beginning of the campaign, about Mexicans, rapists, all kinds of horrible things. Apologize for nothing, but then this general absolution as Catholics we understand. Except you don't get that when you don't say specifically what you're apologizing for. Took responsibility for nothing.
Well, there's a lot that Hillary Clinton should go to confession for, right?
Except here's the deal. When you go to confession, as we know, you have to say specifically. So she says, you know, I did make some mistakes when it came to the emails. No. What specifically and why were those emails destroyed? And specifically about the Clinton Foundation, when she was asked by Chris Wallace of Fox News, what specific conflicts were there between contributions and some decisions you may have made and meetings you may have had as Secretary of State? What she did was she turned around and spun it and started talking about how great the Clinton Foundation, which nobody questions. She takes responsibility for nothing. And I will tell you this, it's something they have in common. It's a terrible leadership trait. And I do believe whoever gets elected will not be the best leader in this country, not be the best leader that could have been president of this country, will be the person that people dislike the least.
All right, let's bring it to the issue. One of the positive things I think about this presidential campaign process, which has been almost 2 years long, not more recently,
very long,
is the number of debates that were held in the primary trails and also the 3 big debates on here, where America, voter, which doesn't pay attention to a great deal of detail, had a long time to look at these leaders, right?
Yep.
A lot fell by the wayside till Trump got it, and Sanders fell by the wayside while Clinton got it. But from those 3 debates, when you looked at it from a leadership mind or how average people would see these debates, what's your take on what American voters got from these debates about these leaders and their leadership abilities?
Great question. I believe people saw this in Hillary Clinton. She practiced being calm. She practiced being, relaxed. She practiced not taking the bait from Donald Trump. And she was good at that. She also practiced answering questions in a very tight fashion by not answering questions and being on message.
She looked more prepared.
She looked more prepared. She was more prepared.
One of the points of leadership, be
and
prepared.
Very relaxed.
Boy Scout motto, be prepared.
And you're a former Boy Scout, as you know. Here's the catch. Donald Trump, demeanor, he's sitting there bragging about my temperament is great. He's muttering under his breath, she's a nasty lady. He's saying all kinds of ridiculous things. You can get this guy, you can grab him, you can hook this guy on anything. Could you imagine if he's the world leader or the leader of the free world as head of our country? You can get this guy peeved by saying the simplest thing, and then he's got the control of God knows what in terms of nuclear power. Nuclear weapons, if you will. I'm going to say this about Trump. He's got the worst demeanor, the worst temperament. He's so thin-skinned. He likes Putin. Why? Because Putin said nice things about him. What that says to me about Trump, in spite of Hillary Clinton's tremendous weaknesses and her lack of trust, and people don't trust her on a lot of levels, rightfully so, not very honest about a lot of things. The problem I have with Trump is he's so easily hooked. His demeanor is so fragile. His ego's so big. He's such a narcissist that, Jim, I don't believe he's even-keeled.
If the debates were the showroom window of this election, and now voters now have to go to see which candidate they're going to buy, what in those debates, quickly, for each Clinton, for Clinton and for Trump, what was the biggest mistake they may have made so that this isn't running away for either of them? The biggest mistake out of the debates that you looked at did not show leadership or showed the lack of it?
For Clinton, she should have simply said there is too close a tie between the Clinton Foundation and some contributions that came in to the foundation and my relationship to the foundation as Secretary of State, because it's a fact. And by the way, blaming the Russians and WikiLeaks for all the leaks and some of those emails is not going to cut it. I think she should have copped to some of that and said it doesn't look good and I understand it.
Right.
For Trump, worst mistake, I may not accept the results of this election. Are you kidding me? It's rigged? And then all of a sudden a poll comes out and says that he's ahead? You know what? I like that poll. I think it's not rigged.
You don't think getting on that bus with Billy Bush wasn't a bigger mistake in life for him in this
That was how
campaign?
many years ago? And you want to know what? What was worse? Forget about, listen, he did what he did on the bus. You know how horrible it is? He turns around and he says, you know why it's ridiculous? Take a look at this woman. You think I'd come on to her? That means he's attacking the physical appearance of women and saying it's less likely that he would sexually assault her or come on to her because she's not attractive enough? What kind of creep are we talking about here? People say that's not an issue. The issue is not just temperament, but what kind of character does he have?
Well, people said in one fell swoop, the female vote that wasn't exactly attuned, especially the younger female vote that wasn't exactly attuned. They were then. That's exactly right. All
Yeah,
right.
and by the way, he just doesn't get that sometimes you just say, you know what, I was wrong. I apologize. I need to check myself.
Okay.
I wish you could do that.
Okay, so that's the lesson in leadership, right? Once again, in Latin, plead a mea culpa.
That's right, and by the way, a lot of us, because we screw up a lot, I have a lot of practice at it.
All right, Steve Adubato.
Thank you,
Lessons
Jim.
in Leadership is a great book. All right, we'll be
Thanks.
right back.